A warm welcome to the news. We begin with the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, now chairman of the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, who on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow at State House. The two held closed-door discussions with Mr. Blair, commending President Barrow for the impressive strides in improving the lives and welfare of Gambians, particularly in the economy, agriculture, and energy, amongst others.
So I had an excellent discussion with the President about the work that my institute is doing here in partnership with the Presidency, focused on issues around delivery, how we improve the lives of people here, focusing on things like electricity and water and agriculture, roads and so on. I think the Gambia has made huge progress in recent times. You've got high growth rates. Tourism is up substantially. There are still obviously big challenges, but I found the President very focused on those, and I'm very optimistic about the future of the country.
Prime Minister, former British Prime
This is the first time the Catholic Development Office is into peace building and social cohesion outside of the mandate of spreading the gospel. The reason is obvious, said Usman Jai, the CRS head of country office.
We are in a critical moment of our transition, and it's important that we talk about it and face the facts as they are, so that we are able to go through and come out happy.
Among the participants in the peace-building seminar was Anna Foster of the African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies and John Jai of Tango.
In terms of social cohesion, I believe that it's also important
.118 schools across the country stood at 3,366 students, out of which 1,983 are boys and 1,386 are girls. The total number of students with passes grade stands at 3,112, representing 92% of the overall registered candidates. However, 796 students, representing 26%, passed with distinction. The first among the outstanding students came from Nurul Islamic Schools, Tujereng, the persons of Abubakar Lamin Chaite. The second came from Mahab Sheikh Omar Bonjeng Islamic School, Bekama, in the person of Aminata Khalifa Debasi. The other one came from Abu Huraya Islamic School in Farafenye, one from Omuldin in Damfa and one from Talinding Islamic Institute, Talinding Kunjang. Therefore, the overall performance by gender indicated that 92% of the boys passed the exams, as opposed to their girls' counterpart, who registered 93% passes in the overall exams. Meanwhile, result slips can now be collected from Amana office by Murid's head of the madrasa from Monday to Thursday each day from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The release ends. Members of the Community Road Development and Maintenance Enterprise, a youth enterprise seeking partnership to support government development efforts, aims to undertake various projects in the area of road maintenance and grassroots infrastructure. Seinabu Jame, the managing director of the enterprise, has been talking to our GRTS upon return from Japan, where she attended a special donor conference. Let's take a listen.
One of the beauty of working as a journalist in the community is that you have an open space to live and interact with the people.
Provincial settlement of Ilyasa in Lower Badibu district, where scores of volunteers from the village and beyond embarked on a massive tree planting exercise. The event, according to volunteers, is part of efforts to mitigate effects of climate change. Our NBR correspondent, Famara Kanye, prepared this report.
One of the beauty of working as a journalist in the community is that you have an open space to live and interact with the people who make up your stories. Doing things that they do and working with them towards achieving a common goal is key in winning their confidence. An invitation from the Mama Tamba Jame Youth Development Association to attend a mangrove restoration exercise was a call we never rejected. For the simple fact that Lower Badibu is slowly losing its vast rice fields due to saltwater intrusion, significantly impacting negatively on thousands of lives in the area. Forestry experts said mangroves are very good in pushing back salt. The community of Ilyasa, which bear the greatest test of the problem, have no other choice than to plant as much mangroves as possible to avert further intrusion into its remaining rice fields.
Planting mangrove will, number one, serve as a and then 3, it will increase agricultural production too, and 4th, it will mitigate climate change effects in rural Gambia.
We are mandated to protect the wetlands, but we alone cannot do it. But we have other NGOs like WAPSAS, which they are also complementing the effort of the Department of Parks and Wildlife in doing restoration in the wetland areas.
Scores of volunteers, the chief of the district included, joined hands together. In the mud, the enthusiastic crowd transplanted more than 10,000 mangrove seedlings in this open space.
It's rather unfortunate that you can see all the mangroves are dying and salt is going upland, very far upland. In fact, all the rice fields have gone.
Tamba Jame is the man behind the initiative. The initial idea was to plant as much as possible, but access to seedlings requires lots of money.
They are very affected with salt intrusion, and also deforestation has definitely affected it. So for that being the case, when this was announced, and then we called all the alcalos and the VDCs and the youth leaders and women leaders, and then to send information to their communities about this tree planting. And thank God they all turned up very well because it is their interest.
Rice production in the area is currently at halt. The women have no choice than to fold their hands in wait until the situation becomes. Meantime, most of them have started giving second thought over agriculture, particularly
to make sure that at least what we need is in place by September, so that come end of September, early October, we should be able to start the diploma in education and also the advanced diploma in education, primary. That will be the start. So we will be working with the sponsors to try to expand, and eventually all the programs that are run at our Birkama campus as far as School of Education is concerned will also be run here. So the institution is the same, so we want to provide the same quality service that we are doing in Birkama here in Basse.
Officials at the college pledged their support and promised to work closely with the Holland Foundation to promote their activities. Members of the Holland Foundation urge the school management and the students to take great care of the trees to protect the environment. Seydou Camara reporting for Grts News from Basse Upper River Region. Holland Foundation have initiated the planting.
This break.
Gaitaf Special Economic Zone is a 160-hectare mixed-use base strategically located within the boundaries of Banjul International Airport, the Gambia. It is the only economic zone located within an airport in West Africa. Gaitaf Special Economic Zone is segmented into 4 separate zones: Commercial Zone, Industrial, Manufacturing, Logistics and Warehousing, Residential Zone. It is a highly secured economic zone with top-notch infrastructure, with eco-friendly buildings and beautiful landscaping. With attractive incentives and access to a pool of labor within the Gambia and the sub-region, the Gaitaf Special Economic Zone has already completed warehouses available to investors. Located less than 30 minutes away from the international seaport of Banjul, investors in the Special Economic Zone will enjoy a unique proximity to major markets around the world, including Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. For additional information, please visit www.gaitaf.com.
Welcome back. Players of the senior national Scorpions are streaming into Banjul ahead of Friday's World Cup qualifier against Angola. Our head of sport, Modu S. Jallo, met some of the players on arrival and he spoke to them.
Batch of Scorpion players numbering 15 have jetted into Banjul ahead of Friday's crunch encounter against the Palanca Negras of Angola in the first leg of the preliminary round. Sampdoria and Atalanta respectively are among a group of players who flew from different countries in Europe to link up with the rest of their teammates who had earlier jetted into Banjul.
We are here to put the country flag high up, you know, and try to rectify the mistakes we had in the past. So it's going to be a big challenge because Angola, they have good players and it's a big nation in terms of football. So I think, you know, we just get to the pitch and try to work with the coach and to get the best out of it.
I'm hoping to win the game against Angola. The way the team is going right now, we want to keep up the momentum, the winning form, and keep them going, and to help the country to qualify to any major tournament that's coming up.
The last group of players to arrive will link up with the rest of their teammates as the Gambia begins its qualification for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. It is certainly a very important game for the Gambia and for the fans. It is a must-win game as many believe it is time for the Gambia to qualify for a major footballing tournament, be it the African Cup of Nations and the World Cup. And the journey starts on Friday at the Independence Stadium against the Palanca Negras of Angola, who have also named their squad to face the Scorpions in the first leg here in Banjul.
Yeah, it's a very important game for us. The players know everything, so and the fans also they know it. So I want to tell the fans, let them come to the stadium. We need a full capacity in the stadium, like against Algeria. We need to win this game. Without the fans, you know, it's going to be difficult. But we need a full capacity of the stadium because it's an important game for us. We need to win here. So let's see what will happen in Angola, but we need to win here, inshallah.
Well, among the players invited is Suleiman Bojang, who is looking forward to his first cap for the Scorpions of the Gambia.
Of course, it's a big game. It's my first official match for Gambia, inshallah, so I hope it will be a great win for us. It means a lot, of course. It's a big dream come true.
The Scorpions will play the Palanca Negras in 2 legs, with the first leg in Banjul on Friday, the 6th of this month, and then the return leg a few days later on the 10th in Luanda. It is certainly going to be a very crunch encounter and definitely a tough encounter for both sides, as the two countries look forward to reaching the group stages of the qualifiers for the 2022 World Cup. Mohamed Jallo, Grts Sports. The latest batch.
We'll be back with news from outside the Gambia right after this break. Welcome back. It's called the strongest Atlantic storm to make landfall in nearly 85 years. Hurricane Dorian is causing catastrophic damage in northern Bahamas. It's still battering the island as it heads slowly for the United States. CGTN's Gerald Tan reports.
It was hectic at first. I mean, most people didn't respond right away. But after they seen what was happening and how the storm was just filling up with a major hurricane category 4, every necessary precaution. And, you know, we always advise they put their pets indoors and always have plenty water inside this hub. Have fresh water, put newspaper down inside the bathroom, whereby they hold their animals, just as well as we had a lot of flooding like last night.
So what was it like riding this thing out? I mean, describe it for us.
Lingering at a standstill over the Bahamas, Hurricane Dorian unleashes its slow torture. The second strongest Atlantic storm on record is pummeling the islands with blinding rain and ferocious winds up to 270 kilometers an hour. The government is urging people to stay indoors because emergency services can't reach anyone in trouble.
This is probably the people. And I just want to say that as a physician, I've been trained to withstand many things, but never anything like this.
The storm has spared nothing. Roofs ripped off, trees uprooted, vehicles toppled. Widespread flooding is reported across the islands, but with power cuts and disruption to internet service, information is scant. Video taken from inside the hurricane's eye show an equally terrifying picture. The storm sustaining its intensity and churning an uncertain path towards the United States.
We don't even know what's coming at us. All we know is it's possibly the biggest. I'm not sure that I've ever even heard of a Category 5. I knew it existed.
Residents along the U.S. southeastern coast are on high alert, stocking up and hunkering down. The National Hurricane Center warns Dorian will be a serious threat in the days ahead. Gerald Tan, CGTN.
British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he does not want a general election, and he's urging lawmakers to vote down a bill that would prevent a no-deal Brexit. His comments came during a televised speech after days of protest against his decision to suspend Parliament in the run-up to the Brexit deadline. And viewers, that brings us to the end of the news tonight. But before